You're watching Theme Park Worldwide, where finally it feels like summer has arrived here at my local park, Alton Towers. So yes, welcome to this very special vlog where I'm actually going to be taking you for a walk around the Towers Ruins themselves, the heart of Alton Towers. Along with that, I'm going to share some facts along all the way, some information that I know about the towers. I actually used to work here doing heritage tours during my time here at the resort. So I've got lots of facts, lots of information to share with you all about the Towers Ruins. Of course, you've got the stunning gardens here at Alton Towers as well. Of course, during the garden openings that there was last year and also earlier this year, we shared quite a lot of facts about the history of those. But yeah, the Towers Ruins, literally last week, they've reopened so we can head inside and take a walk round. Honestly, I'm really passionate about the history here at Alton Towers. It's the local park, it's the place that I grew up with, and it's so much more than just a theme park, as you're going to find out in this video. Yeah, it's like summer has finally arrived. It's a gorgeous day today here, so we're going to head up into the Towers Ruins and also go up on the roof where you get some amazing views across the theme park and also the Staffordshire Countryside. Come and join me for a walk around Alton Towers itself. Now, of course, it's 2021 and Alton Towers is most known for its thrilling rides, 10 roller coasters here at the park, CBeebies Land, hotels, the water park, and so much more. But we wouldn't have had all of that if it wasn't for the Towers Ruins themselves. And here they are. You actually see some work taking place on the front just here. They're actually restoring the banqueting hall window down here at the front. So they've actually got a time-lapse camera set up just there, and you see some information about it just down here as well. The vibes are great today here at Alton Towers. The Mardi Gras celebrations, of course, ongoing. As you can see here, yes, they're restoring the 170-year-old window. So yeah, that's really exciting. And the fact they're actually doing a time lapse for it as well is brilliant. We can see the cameras set up there and all of the scaffolding. So many people come here to Alton Towers and don't realise that you can actually go up there into the ruins. And that's because they don't really make a big thing of it, and they should do. It's the place what started it all, isn't it? So we're going to head round the corner and make our way in. So if you are exiting the attraction known as Hex, the legend of the towers, you walk straight through the conservatories. That is where you actually make your way into the Towers Ruins themselves. However, you can also access them without going on Hex. You head to the archway just to the left here of the towers, and then we take a right turn. So I'll show you exactly where to go so you can get up there. So once you've made your way up through the main archway there, you want to be heading here to the left where you've got this other archway, and on the side says the Towers Ruins and Her Ladyship's Garden. So that's where we're going to be heading first. Take a look round Her Ladyship's, which is straight down this way. Here we are then in one of my favourite places at Alton Towers, Her Ladyship's Gardens. And of course we've just followed the pathway down, walk round to the left here, and then you get access up here to the gardens. The exit to Hex is down that way and the conservatories off to the left, as you can see from the people making their way out. If you follow the pathway straight down here, it leads you towards Her Ladyship's Gardens and the absolutely gorgeous views of Alton Towers. And the building we can see directly in front of us there with the stained glass window at the back here, that's actually the chapel. But I'm just going to share a bit of brief history for you about the building itself. In the 17th century, it actually used to be known as Alton Lodge, and it kept that name all the way through until 1811. And after that, it was known as Alton Abbey. And of course, lots of work was done between 1801 through to around 1852, and that's when there was so much work being done. The conservatories, the chapel, and so many other parts of the building were added into place. Now here's a name that you might find quite familiar, especially if you've been on Hex, the attraction located here at Alton Towers. It's Charles Talbot, the 15th Earl of Shrewsbury. He was responsible for the expansion from Alton Lodge through to Alton Abbey, and of course the expansions to the building that would later be known as Alton Towers. It was Charles Talbot, the 15th Earl, that brought in various different architects to complete the work and transform the building into Alton Abbey. Some of those architects were Thomas Allison, William Hollins, and also Thomas Hopper. Now, when Charles passed away in 1927, he was succeeded by his nephew John Talbot, the 16th Earl of Shrewsbury, who then completed the work and also continued to transform the gardens and house that was started by his uncle. Now, it was John Talbot, the 16th Earl of Shrewsbury, that brought in well-known architect Augustus Pugin to complete the transformation of what was then Alton Abbey into what we see here today, Alton Towers. And it's had that name ever since 1839. So during the 1890s, the 20th Earl, Charles Talbot, started the tradition of summer fetes here at Alton Towers. There was firework displays, balloon festivals, and lots of people making their way here to the grounds. Everything was looking absolutely fantastic at that point. People coming here, the maintenance of the grounds, and people enjoying the grandeur and splendour of Alton Towers and the wonderful estate. Unfortunately, the good times wouldn't last for much longer, because in 1896, the Earl and the Countess separated. At this point, the house started to become neglected and decayed, and they weren't paying for the upkeep of this humongous building and estate. In November 1918, the Earl then decided to sell off the majority of the estate by auction, followed by the rest of it in 1924, and that's when it all got sold to local businessmen, who actually then created the company Alton Towers Limited. It was following on from this sale that unfortunately a lot of the items were stripped out here of Alton Towers and sold on. During World War II, Alton Towers was also used as an officer training unit. That's something that a lot of people also don't realise, and an interesting little fact for you about this building. A lot of people have always said that, is it the fact that it was used as that training unit that so much got stripped out? And that wasn't the case at all. It was more the businessmen, the Bagshaws family, that stripped out a lot of the furnishings and fittings here from Alton Towers. And then, of course, more attractions were started to be brought in. The gardens were opened up a lot more after World War II, and this is why the tower stands like this today. So I really hope that let's give you a bit of simple history, really putting it all into how exactly it looks like it does today. So many of the items were just stripped out and sold, unfortunately, after family arguments. Happens, doesn't it? It's sad, but anyway, here we are today inside the ruins. We have got to thank the Bagshaws family though for actually putting the stairways in, reinforcing some of the roofs, and making it nice and accessible so we can walk round. Now, Alton Towers are really passionate about their heritage with restoring parts of the grounds. The gardens have gone through a lot of restoration work. The conservatories that you can see just out here to the left, they were completely restored a few years ago. All new glass panels were put into place and they look absolutely stunning. However, unfortunately, because Alton Towers actually put scare mazes in here for the Halloween season, it does mean that each year they seem to be closing earlier and earlier, apart from this year, 2021. Now, of course, the park's only been open for just under a couple of months now because of the COVID-19 lockdown. So, of course, normally they'd be closed off now to start preparation for Scarefest. That isn't something that seems to be happening yet in these areas, which I am really pleased about. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the fact that they put the scare mazes in here. They do a great job. They're some of the best scare mazes I've ever been in. However, I do feel like the Towers Ruins, like they always used to be, they should be open throughout the summer. They always used to traditionally close on September the 1st, just about a month before Halloween, just to get everything prepared, ready for the event. And that's something that's kind of slipped over the past few years. And I really think that Alton Towers need to start going back to that so people can walk around, enjoy the building, enjoy the heritage that Alton Towers has. Now, of course, that big stained glass window that is being restored is on the banqueting hall. The doors you can see just in front of me there, they lead through into the banqueting hall. And that is the main room itself just there. Off to the left, that is where you're going to have the stained glass window. This is the small family dining room that you can see just here. Like I say, the Bagshaws put in lots of different steps and access points that we have got to be thankful for. They started that transformation really into more of a tourist attraction for Alton Towers. And then here we are in the drawing room just here, also known as the tea room, not because they served tea directly in here, more because of the shape of it. It's actually a giant T. So of course we're standing down at the end of it here, it spans down that way, and it goes across in that direction down at the bottom. Now, of course, when lots of the items were stripped out of the towers, not every single item was removed and sold, such as some of the fireplaces, some of the roofing parts, all the things that, of course, would cost the most to actually strip down were kept in place. Unfortunately, as you can see from how the building is today, not that much of it does remain. But you can still see in here, like all the little markers on the wall. Of course, this would have had like wooden cladding coming down, and that would have all been fastened up here, what you can see on the sides. And you can still see some of the wood in place just here. The panels would have actually attached onto the side here, so you wouldn't have seen the stonework like we can here today. So just off from the great drawing room is this tiny little room here that would actually been used as a kind of entertaining space. A lot of kind of waxwork models would have been here. Lots of different items, of course, that could be used for entertaining guests that will make their way here to Alton Towers. But yeah, as you can see, it's quite a small room in comparison with the great drawing room just off there to the side. Now, I'm sure that when you've been to Alton Towers and you've gone on the rides here and walked down Towers Street and seen this former stately home from up there when you're walking towards it, you probably think, blimey, there's so many rooms inside here. And that's correct, there really is. However, unfortunately, because parts of the ruins are used for scare mazes for Halloween, all that's actually open on the ground level is the section that I've just shown you. Literally not even a tenth of what's available down on that level. And I would love to be able to show you around all the different rooms here. So I am really hoping at some point in the near future they can get more access into the towers. But we've come up one level of steps. We are heading up to the roof. Just thought I'd show you on here some of the views that you get and talk a little bit about these rooms. The summer vibes are real today here at Alton Towers. Like, look at the view, it's incredible. It's probably a bit better here off to the right actually, because of course on the left you've got the nets there. Put them in quite a few years ago now, I think, just to try and stop birds coming in and yeah, making a bit of a mess inside here. But yeah, you get some stunning views out there looking to the theme park. Of course, the views get even better when we go up onto the roof itself. But like I said a few minutes ago here in the video, not every feature was removed during that sale. Like with this window here, for example, part of it is still here intact, whereas on the left-hand side, quite a large part has unfortunately been removed there and sold. You've got quite a lot of fireplaces inside this building that are still here, such as this one here. I mean, there's all sorts of different designs for fireplaces that are still in the building. I mean, one of my favourites is in the banqueting hall, and it's also got the Shrewsbury crest on there, which is really nice, and some of the original tiles. I can't get access into there at the moment, but I'm really hoping if if Alton Towers can let me, I'd love to come and do a full video tour, taking you through all the rooms. I've got so many stories to share. Just thought I'd tell you a little bit about the windows here as well. This is always a fascinating fact I used to get in on my tours. People had asked, hang on a minute, why, we're on the floor here, why is the, part of the windows blocked up? That's all because of how the building went through so many transformations over the years. And I believe that part of this wall here is actually part of the original building. If we go back to Alton Lodge, and then as the building was expanded, of course, different levels were added in, and bits were blocked up as well. So yeah, that's kind of why you can see lots of different kind of areas like this in the ruins themselves where bits have been blocked up. And there's so many other different stories to tell from in this building as well. And you walk around now, and yes, I know quite a lot about the building, but you see areas like this over here, this little alcove, and you think, oh, what was it for? Was it like a shelving unit, a bookcase maybe? Fascinating. Maybe it was a door that was blocked in at some point. Yeah, there's so many different parts of this building that I've got so many little stories as well. I'd love to share more of them and get around more of the towers. Like I say, so much of it has been used for scare mazes. The good news is, though, that last year there was some information that came out from Alton Towers that they're hoping to open more of a heritage trail through part of the building, including the West Wing. Now, you access the West Wing just through the door just there. It was used as a scare maze there quite a few years ago now. We had Terror of the Towers in that section, a scare maze called the Sanctuary, that was also in the West Wing, where all the staterooms are and the big grand bedrooms where the Earl and his guests, of course, would have come to stay here at Alton Towers. That's all closed off at the moment, much like the most of the building, to be honest. Another one of my favourites, the Pugin rooms, they're closed because part of the attic scare maze is set up. Alton Towers really need to take out the scare mazes when they're not in use, in my opinion, and go back to how it was before. They used to set them up in a short period of time, and then it's just kind of get longer and longer and longer, meaning that more of the building's closed off, and we're lucky to be in it now, to be honest. The end of May when I'm recording this, normally it'd all be fully closed off, preparing for Halloween, even though we're in summer. It's mad. So just come out of the door there that leads through to the staterooms, and just before we go up the wooden staircase just there and up onto the roof, honestly the views are spectacular. Just wanted to talk about this area here. So yeah, this is actually one of my favourite rooms here. I'll peek you through in just a second so you can see. Of course, this is all set up from the attic scare maze. If you came at Scarefest, this is where you came out of the attic. You won't really recognise it much because it was pitch black in here. But yeah, this was the finale scene just there on the right hand side. But yeah, if we zoom in to what were actually the Pugin rooms, Augustus Pugin, in. And the architect, of course, that did a lot of the work here at Alton Towers was going to move into these rooms. Unfortunately, they were actually never completed to the finished standard, which is a shame. But yeah, you've got the fireplace there that's got some really nice details on, and there's also a pattern on there. You can't see it that well because, like I say, it's all closed off because of that scare maze that they've left set up in there. But when we go onto the roof in just a second, you'll see the pattern that's actually there over on the fireplace. You can see out as a fountain over in Ladyship's Gardens. So we're gradually getting there up onto the roof. Just these final few steps to go through that black door there, and then we're out onto the main part of the roof. And there is a few other steps outside, but I'll show you those in just a second, of course, if you're going to be making your way up here. But yeah, I just wanted to talk again a bit about the restoration that Alton Towers do. And Hex, that opened here 21 years ago, that actually runs through all the part of the building we can see over there, all the long gallery. Of course, you've got the Octagon building there as well, and that's used in Hex, the big room with all the strobe lights and where you watch the second movie. That's in the Octagon. Then, of course, you actually go out into the building that's just over at the back there, so I'll zoom in for you. Alton Towers would never be allowed to actually build a ride inside the ruins themselves. So if you see that big green building that's just over at the back there, that's actually where the ride itself is for Hex, the Legend of the Towers. That's where the vault is, of course. So you go onto the ride system, you actually leave the Towers Ruins just here, under the area where you can see they restored the roof. Actually, they did it up until that point. You go through the other side there and into the show building that you can see. And yeah, this is what I wanted to say about the restoration, really. When they did that 21 years ago, they had to completely redo the roof and restore that part of the towers. And yeah, unfortunately, they didn't decide to restore it past that point. They only did what they needed to, which is a shame. It would have been nice if they could have finished all of it. But that gives you a good idea. Before Hex 21 years ago, a lot of that section of the towers looked like that without a roof, and it was just exposed to the elements. And then when the attraction came in 21 years ago, all of that got transformed. But yeah, a fun little fact for you. We can see the show building to Hex a little bit more when we get up on the roof, but there it is. So yeah, Hex isn't really inside the towers. There it is, inside that big show building just off to the back there. They could never build a ride inside the ruins. So this really is the heart of Alton Towers. If you're coming here for the day, you can easily walk up here and come and take in the stunning views, especially when the sun is shining like today. This is one of my favourite places to be in the world, especially with Alton Towers being such a special place for me. This channel would not exist without this park, my home park. I don't live too far away, but I met Charlotte here during the construction of the Smiler, and coming up here and just looking out over the views is one of my favourite things to do, because look at this, it's absolutely gorgeous. And on a day like today, just looking out over the theme park, seeing all the rides, it combines a lot of my interests together, you know, rides and entertainment and the history of the building. It's incredible. I'm going to spin you around, I'm going to show you some of these views because they are pretty epic. If it wasn't for that ride, me and Charlotte would never have met. Of course, we met during the construction of that ride and got talking about roller coasters. Crazy, isn't it? And here we are, nearly 8 years on. Amazing. And the views of the Smiler are pretty stunning. I'm sure a lot of you know this already, but I'll mention it again. This video is all about facts for you all. Alton Towers can't build above the tree height, and that's why you can see all the different rides and roller coasters here. Spinball Whizzer over there to the right, the Smiler, even some of the taller rides like Oblivion. Everything is below the tree line in that area because they're not allowed to build any higher than that. Now the conservatories that you can see just here were completely restored a few years ago and look amazing. It was pretty much just a flat roof on there for many, many years after that sale. So it's nice to see that that was fully restored. You look out over this side of the park down towards the world of David Walliams just over there. You get to realise how big the theatre is just there that's currently not used, it's just storage. But yeah, there's a big theatre there. You can see the facade for it there, the purple or blue, whatever you want to call it, building. And then at the back just there, the huge show buildings. So yeah, that could be another indoor ride, a show venue, or turn it back into a 4D theatre as maybe a phase 2 of David Walliams. But yeah, that's gives you a good idea on the size of it, and all the facades just here as well. The buildings down by Cuckoo Cars Driving School. You see the back of them just there and realise, oh, they're not actually as tall as you would think. And then once again, if we pan off to the right-hand side just here, you can see the building there for Hex. So yeah, let me just point out where the different parts of the ride are. So all the queue line, the entrance of the queue line, of course, is in the tower just there. That's all the queue line up until that point. And of course you go into the cinema room, which is just down here where you actually watch the video, and then make your way forward into the Octagon before going out into the ride and back out through the door down there at the bottom. That's all the west wing of the towers over there, all of the staterooms. Again, you can normally get access onto the roof just over there. You've not been able to get access into them rooms other than for a scare maze for many, many years. And we're talking a long time, you know, before I was born. So yeah, it'd be nice to see them actually open that up. They did it as a paid scare maze. Why can't they do it normally? That's what I want to know. Get it open. And you've actually got the Leicester Tower as well around here. That's the tower that you can just see off to the side. So many chimneys, isn't there? There's chimneys absolutely everywhere on this building. Amazing. But yeah, Leicester Tower, you used to be able to go up there, so I'd love to see access for that again as well. But yeah, so many chimneys. I mean, these were restored a couple of years ago. You can see they're constantly looking after the building, which is really good to see. That's why, come on Alton, let's get it opened up a lot more for people to see. Another little fun fact for you now, of course, about the tours that I used to do. So yeah, you can see just there, it says "and" painted on, and you think, oh, it's like some graffiti or something. Well, you can't really see the S, but it says "sand" across there. It's believed that that's from when the building was used as that training camp back in World War II. So yeah, it says "sand" up there, and it also says it over on the other side. You can still see the S on that side. And here's a nice look down towards some of the servants' quarters. I mean, you can see like the kitchen floor down there, that's still in place. All the servants' quarters kind of come back underneath where I'm standing now. So much of this building that, you know, is closed off, and there's still so much that, you know, I'd like to discover, buildings that I've not been up. I mean, you got the round tower there, never been up that. That was completely restored at the top a few years ago. You can see all of the reclaimed kind of work that was done to the stones on there, some new ones added to fit with the style. And this is the top of the banqueting hall here, and hanging from the tower just there inside the banqueting hall would actually used to have been a big chandelier. That chandelier is actually now in the Palace of Westminster down in London. Fun little fact for you, because Pugin did a lot of work for that building as well with the Gothic style. But yeah, so many little areas that, you know, just don't make much sense, like this section here. I mean, there's a tree growing up here now, but yeah, so much of it doesn't really make much sense, and that's what always fascinates me about this building. There you go, you can just see how it says "sand" on the top section just over there as well. Like I say, that's from back when it was used as that training camp during World War II. So we're going to carry on down this way now, down the steps that have been put in. And we get some more awesome views of the rides. Now, you normally get a great view of Oblivion when they used to have the other part of the roof open. But yeah, from here we get a reasonably good angle, but it's even nicer when you're on that other part of the roof. Here we go, spin you around. Oh, the sun's in the perfect place as well. So we can zoom over there to the precipice. There you go. If you saw my cycling videos that I did during the lockdowns, and we went to a place called Dimminsdale, see all them trees in the background over there, and the rocks? Well, that's where we went, up there, over to Dimminsdale. Oh, that is a view of Oblivion, isn't it? Don't look down. Oh, that didn't hold long, did it? Literally about a second, if that. Amazing. Just about seen Mixtape down there, of course, one of the temporary rides. Are you enjoying this very different Alton Towers video? I'm sure that, you know, there's quite a few of you out there that really appreciate the fact that, you know, you can see the towers and have more information. It's nice to be able to do this video. I wasn't expecting to be able to do it this year. I just assumed they were going to stay closed because of it opening later because of the lockdowns. But yeah, the view of Oblivion's good from here, but it's even better from the other roof. So let's hope they can open them in the future. Oh, look at that view of the Smiler. Not a jewel, but it's close enough. When I say jewel, I'm not on about Jewel the Haunted House. I mean dueling on the going around the track just there. Yeah, that view is incredible. And it's the best time of the year as well for a lot of the planting here at Alton Towers. All the purple coming out down there on the trees and bushes. Incredible. But yeah, not many theme parks. Probably the only theme park in the world where you combine this much history, real history, you know, non-theme park history with, you know, a real theme park as it is today. Even Disney can't say they've got a real stately home at the heart of their theme parks. You know, this isn't a fiberglass castle. This is real. And of course, it's not a castle. It was a stately home, you know. We can see the Talbot Hounds up there as well, and also holding the little flags up there as well. And there's so many different kind of points throughout where you can see the Talbot Hounds and the Shrewsbury Crest as well. It's stunning, it really is. And we can get another great view actually if we go up these steps here to the left and head down to this bottom section just here. So like I say, there is still quite a bit open to see, but nowhere near as much as I would like to see back open again. So yeah, this is like the other side. You saw the lad just wearing blue probably. He was stood just here when I was up there on the top. Give you the perspective again. So that's down to Her Ladyship's Gardens down there. And this section here, that's part of the Fusion rooms. You know, I was saying that they've got the attic scare maze set up inside. Well, there you go, you can see part of the attic if we zoom in there. That's part of the attic scare maze. That was the scene where you turn around and there's a big bed in that scene with some projections on. And the chapel is the building off to the left, just there as well. So yeah, it's a humongous place, it really is. Absolutely huge. More chimneys over here as well. And this is a great place to come and just chill out and enjoy the views across the Staffordshire moorlands. I mean, look at this. You've got the Weaver Hills over there in the distance as well. And you've got them summer vibes today. It's Mardi Gras here at Alton Towers. Check out the Mardi Gras vlog that me and Charlotte uploaded about a week and a half ago now. Check that out, and of course you get to see all the Mardi Gras entertainment and the atmosphere going on here at Alton Towers. Honestly, they've done a stunning job with that event. It really is brilliant. Don't look down. Something that I'm really pleased with here as well is how they haven't put like a massive high fence on here. You know, be responsible if you're coming up here. Like, you know, if you're bringing like little kids up here, don't let them come running off to the edge and stuff, because this isn't that tall at all. It's literally like waist height on me. So it's nice that, you know, they haven't blocked it in. It'll ruin the view from the bottom, and yeah, it'd be awful, but you just got to be careful if you're coming up here. You know, especially if you've got little kids, that they're not getting too close to this without adult supervision, because it's a pretty big drop down there. There's that time-lapse camera down there as well that's doing all the work here on the window. So yeah, I'm gonna head back down shortly. That's pretty much all there is to see at the moment. Like I say, it's a huge building here, but you know, it would be so nice to see more of it open. It really would. We're probably looking at 10% of this building that's open at the moment, which is nowhere near enough for a building of this size. The park really do care about the history, so let's see it. You know, let's see these other areas open. I would absolutely love to see that. Just thought I'd mention as well, you got the courtyard over there in Mutiny Bay. That's also part of the original estate. They were used as horse stables originally. And you get a fantastic view there over from the archway here to the towers. And I've got another fun fact for you, actually. I'm full of them today, why not? So you see it really well from here. Battle Galleons, the Splash Battle just off there to the right, an interactive water ride. When that opened in 2008, they couldn't actually get planning permission to build it on the full lake down there. And that's because from the archway that you can see in the middle there of the courtyard, you've got to have a perfect, unobstructed view of the towers. So we're looking straight across to there now. Yeah, you know, they couldn't block that. So yeah, they couldn't get planning permission to fully, you know, block in the lake, which I really like. You know, the fact that, you know, they're very strict with them here when it comes to permissions. That makes it more exciting. We've had some of the best rides in the world built here because of that, and all the different restrictions that have been put in place, all thanks to Alton Towers and of course this building here. You know, Alton Towers, let's forget about the theme park for a moment and just really appreciate the amount of time and effort that went into something like this. I do construction updates for theme parks. Can you imagine doing construction updates for something like this? Like, how much detail's gone into everything. It really is incredible. It's Alton Towers. The ruins are open, probably for a limited time. Get them open more, Alton Towers, if you're watching this. I know you're watching. Let's see them open more, because honestly, it's such a shame that people can't come up here and appreciate this on a lot more occasions. It really is. So I'm just round at the side of the Towers Ruins then now to wrap up this nice little tour, and I really hope that it's gave you lots of information that you might not have known about Alton Towers and how the building ended up looking like it does today. There's so much more history, there's so many more stories to tell, and there's a lot more to walk around there, and I really hope at some point in the near future Alton Towers can open up more of the Towers Ruins. It's the heart of this park, it really is. It wouldn't be here without it, and I really want to see more of it opened up in there, like it used to be, and maybe even more than ever before. Wouldn't it be great to be able to stroll around Alton Towers, all the different rooms, and just see you know, places that I've never even seen before in there. Like I say, when I used to do the tours, I had access to pretty much the full building, but there were still some doors that had to remain closed, and what's behind there, what history is there, what stories is there to tell. This is an incredible building that I'm really passionate about, and there is some passionate people here at Alton Towers that care about it, so let's see it opened up again. Honestly, there's so much more to this place than just the theme park. Look at it, Alton Towers itself, it's stunning. Now of course the restoration project is ongoing. I mentioned back at the start of the video how the banqueting hall window is currently being restored. Well, you can see some more shots of it just here on your screen. They've got the big tarp on the front there that gives you a bit of information about it, and also a look at what it's going to look like when it's complete. Now that window did used to be in there, but we're probably going back maybe 10 years now. It got took out. It was going to be restored, fun fact for you, by the original company that actually built the window originally all them years ago. However, However, unfortunately, even though they kept going for all them years, during the recession they actually went bankrupt. You know, they closed, but they still had the window. So there's been a lot of things going on behind the scenes with that window, but finally they've found a company to do the restoration work. It's going to be happening here at Alton Towers, and that's really exciting. I don't know the time frame for it, but yeah, you know, I'm really hoping that we get to see that in the next few months. Of course, it's a big job, you know, to completely restore that window and put it all in place, all of the individual stained glass windows and panels. But once it's come together, I think it's going to be beautiful, and I can't wait to see it. But there you go. Thanks for joining me here from Alton Towers, the actual Alton Towers, this former stately home, not a castle, at the heart of Alton Towers. It's now a popular theme park, but without this place, honestly, none of this would exist, and you know, the channel wouldn't exist. And going back to, you know, into my history with this park, I wouldn't have met Charlotte, and the channel wouldn't exist. Honestly, it's incredible, it really is. But thank you so much for joining me here in this very special tour on YouTube, and that leaves me with one final thing to say: get out there and keep on riding. See you all soon.